Hello, and welcome to my next video. I am here to bring you the naked truth, the hidden corners of female psychology regarding what they truly crave versus what they usually say outwardly. In today's video, I will reveal something to you that I bet, because you are a man, you have most likely never been taught systematically before. That is the art of creating an emotional connection, and why it serves as the golden key to opening the door to the heart as well as the mind of any woman. I have a hunch about you surely, in your journey to become more attractive and to understand the fair sex better. There have been times when you heard someone advise, hey, if you really want to get a girl, you have to create an emotional connection with her. It sounds very logical and touching, but the harsh reality is that most men are completely misunderstanding this definition. When hearing the words emotion, brothers often immediately associate them with things that are sweet and gentle, like sugar, honey, and everything sparkling like a fairy tale. You think that an emotional connection means having to sit and talk about unicorns, vibrant rainbows after the rain, or speaking about romantic, sentimental topics, swearing oaths to be together for a lifetime. But oh, boys, the truth behind it is much more interesting, practical, and somewhat gritty than what you imagine. The truth is, an emotional connection can be completely built and nurtured on the foundation of longing and strong physical desire. Imagine a situation like this. A girl, after talking to you, secretly thinks to herself, "Oh my God, he just made me have the boldest, naughtiest thoughts that I have never dared to think of before. And the strange thing is, I don't even understand why I have that feeling." You know what? Precisely that is a true emotional connection. Why? Because it is a powerful surge of vibration, a feeling of sexual attraction and exploding excitement that she is experiencing directly. You are the one who sparked that electric current, and that very current has connected her to you in an invisible but extremely firm way. However, I need you to be extremely focused on this next point, because it is the boundary between a sophisticated conqueror and a rude man. Although sexual desire is counted as a type of emotional connection, the majority of men out there are approaching it in a completely wrong and counterproductive way. Men tend to be too direct, too naked, and lack guidance. Why is that? Simply because that is how the male brain operates. You react strongly to what you see directly. However, we women are not programmed that way. It will never be a plus point. Even a bucket of cold water that douses all excitement if a guy comes up and asks bluntly a question like, "Do you want to have sex?" or drops a crude proposal like, "Bend over, I'll give you a night to remember." Perhaps those words would make adult film actresses look excited on screen to serve the male gaze, but for real-life flesh and blood women, those who have hearts, emotions, and self-respect, those sentences have nothing called charming or sexy at all. It is dry, lacks sophistication, and to be honest, it is extremely off-putting, if not to say it will make her want to leave you immediately. Instead, the art of metaphor, sophistication, and suggestive words are your best companions when you want to evoke excitement and desire in a woman. If you have enough cleverness to offer an implied suggestion, making us use our own brains to paint hot scenarios in our minds without you having to say it out loud, then believe me, that has a destructive power 10,000 times stronger than being overt. That is the pinnacle of the art of flirting and emotional leading. Let me suggest a few specific examples of these types of subtle statements. When a girl is giving you a compliment or intentionally making a challenge, instead of responding normally, let her know that you are an extremely observant person. Show her that you have seen through her intentions and you are completely mastering the game. Basically, you are teasing and accusing that she is the one who is having not-so-decent thoughts. For example, you can give a suggestive smile and say, "You're flirting with me quite overtly, I know it all," or a confident statement showing masculine mettle like, "You're starting to fall for me, aren't you? Admit it, your eyes say it all." You can also use gentler but highly provocative sentences like, "Are you intentionally hitting on me? You look quite cute right now," or, "I knew it. It turns out behind this gentle appearance, you also have a very naughty side." Sometimes, cleverly taking the blame on yourself also creates an irresistible attraction, like, "Oh dear, looking at you right now, some not-so-decent thoughts are popping up in my head," or, "I have a feeling you will definitely be a big trouble for my life, but perhaps I like that trouble." Besides teasing affirmations, you can also apply suggestive questions to lead the story further into private space. Start from gentle levels to probe her reaction. For example, asking, "Have you ever tried the feeling of skinny dipping in nature?" Or, "What is your view on couples showing intense affection in public?" All these statements, these questions full of implication, are the way for you to cleverly plant the element of gender and attraction into the conversation in the most natural way. And here is the secret: pay close attention to her reaction. If she excitedly responds, teases back, or even plays along with your story with sparkling eyes, that is a brilliant green light showing that she is completely on the same frequency as you. She is ready to step onto a new rung in this relationship with you. This does not mean the two of you will seal the deal by going to bed at that very moment, but her acceptance and enthusiastic participation show that a magnetic pull has been established. Your job now is simply to continue nurturing, leading, and building more on that burning foundation of excitement. When you approach a woman in this sophisticated way, you're actually giving her the power to use the ultimate and most powerful weapon of women, that is a rich imagination. There is a physiological truth that very few men pay attention to, which is that the brain is the largest and most sensitive sexual organ of humans, no matter how grand your physical size might be. We women will feel many times more stimulated and excited when we get to imagine for ourselves, to weave enchanting and hot scenarios in our heads, instead of having everything exposed before our eyes in a crude way with nothing left to discover. To verify this, you don't need to look far. Try a small experiment like this, go to Amazon or any bookstore, spend a few dollars to buy a romance novel specifically for women. Believe me, that will be the smartest and most worthwhile investment you have ever made to understand female psychology. When opening those pages, you will notice a common formula that always repeats. Every love story begins extremely slowly. The tension and drama are meticulously built through each page. Sensitive details or scenes of intimacy are never written bluntly by the author from the beginning. Instead, they are implied, teased, and hidden behind gazes, accidental light touches, or dialogues full of implication. But it is that suppression, that waiting, that creates a huge emotional pressure, so that when everything reaches the threshold, it will explode into the hottest, wildest visions you can imagine. This is exactly what we women react to most strongly. This is the way we always dream about how a love affair will take place when meeting a truly attractive man who knows how to lead. It is completely contrary to what you usually see in pornographic films, which are only produced to serve the quick visual needs of men, where characters haven't even had time to greet each other for more than 2 sentences, before throwing themselves at each other mechanically and without emotion. Men who truly understand this pinnacle art of communication, those who know how to control the rhythm of attraction and sexual tension, are truly rare, black diamonds in the eyes of women. And that is also the reason why the few men who hold this secret always possess an irresistible charm. They always have more choices and quality relationships than anyone else. You know, the difference between an ordinary man and an attractive man sometimes lies only in the way they use words to evoke the imagination of their partner. Women don't need a guy who talks too much about himself. They need a man who can make them feel their own presence in a space full of longing. When you learn how to use silence at the right time, deep looks, and half-closed, half-open statements, you're truly creating a playground where the woman will be the one who voluntarily enters and does not want to leave. Remember that every word you say is a seed, if you know how to sow them in the right soil of the soul and water them with sophistication. You will reap results that you never dared to dream of. Never underestimate the power of an intelligent conversation. It can completely change the way a girl perceives you, from a stranger to someone she cannot stop thinking about before going to sleep. Start observing and practicing right from today, from the smallest things, the most subtle compliments. Don't rush, don't push. Let everything happen like a piece of music with a rhythm that rises and falls. When you master that rhythm, you are the conductor of emotions. And believe me, no woman can resist such an enchanting piece of music. Goodbye, and wish you a day full of energy and luck.